Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Simo here from Investment Research dropping in on November 18th, 2025 because Tesla is absolutely putting shareholders through the ringer lately. Listen, the stock wrapped up last week around $404 after a bumpy ride. And right now we're hovering in the $405 to $410 zone depending on the minute. But make no mistake, we're sitting roughly 17% off the all-time peak of $488. We tagged back earlier this year. I've been digging deep all weekend and this morning to figure out what's really driving this correction, where the big money stands, and most importantly, whether this dip is a gift or a warning sign. Let's break it down step by step. First off, the big question on everyone's mind, why is Tesla giving back gains, even with robotaxi rolling out in more spots and the autonomy story getting stronger by the day? From everything I'm seeing, there are a few key forces at play creating this downward pressure. Number one, Cathie Wood and ARK have been lightening up on Tesla shares pretty consistently through November, unloading chunks worth tens of millions in recent sessions. Look, when someone as influential as Cathie starts booking profits after the kind of run we've had, it triggers a wave of copycat selling from retail folks who track her every move. This isn't some red flag on the business itself, it's textbook rebalancing after massive appreciation. Second, technically speaking, we've chopped around between the high 380s and low 420s lately, with volume thinning out as the broader market rotates away from expensive growth names. That lighter participation just amplifies every move lower, and we've slipped under a couple key moving averages, which has algo traders and stop-loss hunters piling on. Third, valuation chatter is everywhere right now. Tesla's trading at sky-high multiples, north of 100 times forward earnings on some cuts, while margins get squeezed from all the heavy lifting on AI and new platforms. Wall Street's narrative is that after the monster rally, there's not much margin of safety left if any autonomy delays pop up or if competition heats up even more. Classic case of the market pricing imperfection and then freaking out over any hint of imperfection. My take on this, and from latest consensus from about 30 to 35 desks, lands at a cautious hold, with average 12-month targets clustering around 380 to 385. That's implying some single-digit downside from where we are now. When the street's median call sits below the current quote, you know skepticism is running high, basically saying, yeah, it's come too far, too fast. You see wild spreads though, lows scraping $20 on the super bearish side, highs pushing $600 from the true believers like Wedbush who are all in on the robotaxi and Optimus Revolution. Only about a third of analysts are outright buy right now, and institutional flows from the latest 13Fs are all over the map. Some big names adding quietly, others trimming alongside Cathie. That division is exactly why the price action feels so erratic. On the brighter side, we've seen a bunch of target hikes tied to the real-world progress on FSD and energy storage exploding. Firms like Stifel and a few others are sticking to 500 plus calls because they see the AI flywheel spinning faster than people think. This is the part that always gets me fired up with Tesla, the massive split between near-term noise and the insane long-game potential. The bull argument is straightforward. Robotaxi fleets are already live in Austin and expanding zones. FSD miles are piling up in the billions with real improvements showing in the latest V14 builds, Cybercab ramps toward 2026, and Optimus pilots are moving into actual factory testing, energy storage is printing record margins, and the whole ecosystem is turning into this distributed AI inference monster. If even half of Elon's vision hits, we're talking trillions in value. The counter, EV demand has cooled in spots after incentive changes. Competition, especially out of China, is ferocious. CapEx is through the roof, and any slip on unsupervised autonomy timelines could spark another leg down. Longer-term models I respect, like some of the deeper 2030 forecasts, still point to $800 plus per share if growth re-accelerates into robotics and ride-hailing. Even conservative ones assuming slower ramps have Tesla north of 500 to 600 by the end of the decade. After poring over all the data, I'm convinced this is just healthy breathing room after an absolute moonshot earlier in the year, not some fundamental crack. The core story hasn't changed one bit. Tesla is the undisputed leader in real-world AI applied to mobility and beyond. Q3 showed deliveries beating, energy going parabolic, and the software side marching toward monetization. What we're seeing is pure short-term psychology. Profit taking from legends like Kathy, fear of it's too expensive, and technical breakdowns feeding the algo machines for swing traders. Keep a sharp eye on the 390 to 400 zone. Hold above there on decent volume and we could rip back toward 430 to 440 quick. Break it convincingly though, and 360 to 370 comes into play fast. That's where I'd be looking to scale in aggressively. For anyone with a 2 to 5 year view, which is how you have to think with Tesla, levels around $400 represent one of those rare load the boat opportunities on a company that's literally building the future. My base case 12-month target sits $520 to $550 with blue sky upside way north if Robotaxi and Optimus start printing real revenues sooner than the skeptics expect. Alright team, that's the full download on Tesla as of November 18th, 2025. Bottom line, the dip is driven by profit taking, valuation fears, and technical selling. Nothing that's broken the long-term thesis. Wall Street's cautious, targets mostly lag the price, but the asymmetry still screams higher for patient money. As always, this isn't advice. Do your homework, size accordingly, and never risk what you can't afford to lose. Drop your thoughts below, smash that like if you're adding on this weakness, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.